life has a way of always throwing us curveballs which massively affect our ability to consistently perform to a decent standard when we are training. For example, age, responsibilities, family life, work. All of these are legitimate excuses for reasons your training would be affected. And to add, another layer to that, everybody on the mats will say, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you are the nail. And I don't necessarily agree with that last one. I genuinely believe you should have consistent energy most weeks on the mats. It's not going to be like that every week, but most weeks it can be like that. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can get consistent energy for training, because we can point the finger at a lot of random things that happen in our lives, but it gets to a point where we can actually look at ourselves and make a few changes. So in this video, I'm going to be talking specifically about how to address inconsistent energy during training. And how I'm going to cover it is, I'm going to cover it in normal, this channel's fashion. We're going to talk about mindset and character to start things off, and then I'm going to give you some actionable points to send you on your way with a well-rounded solution, rather than me just giving you the actionable points and then you not doing them, because you're gonna beat yourself before you've even tried any of the solutions, right? For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. My name's Paul Green. I coach grapplers online that want to forge resilient joints and improve their longevity within Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The link's in the description if you're interested in my one-to-one coaching service. So, talk about character, right? Obviously, as we progress in life, we gain more responsibilities. Kids grow up, kids get hobbies, we have busier careers, which kind of pulls us in different directions, right? But it's our job as a man to try very hard, and this is a fucking battle, to control the controllables. Because if we're so willing to get pulled pillar to post most days, we're always a victim to, the shenanigans, right? And Jiu-Jitsu is an awesome bubble to just let that happen, right? But off the mats, we can actually control a lot of stuff. So in reality, the situation is your inconsistent training is a result of your inconsistent character. And until you address that mindset, it doesn't matter what tactics you bring into your life, whether it's new supplements, whether it is a better sleep routine, or whether it is better training or nutrition. These are all just tactics. They're not going to make a difference until your character becomes consistent. What I mean specifically by this is, on a Monday, for example, you may wake up, with really good level of consistency. You may say no to a lot of things. You may have very good discipline. You may have, very good integrity. You may have very good, an optimistic outlook on how the week's going to go and how the rest of the year's going to go. But by Tuesday, after a bad thing happens at work, or, you get pulled off center by, a random thing with the kids, all of them go to shit, and you now believe the opposite. You're now negative, unenthusiastic, unmotivated. Do you know what I mean? So it's some days you're doing things amazingly with regards to how you view the world and solve problems, and some days you do things absolutely terribly, right? And that links into everything, right? It links into food choices, it links into sleep routine, it links into training weights, it links into absolutely everything, right? Because the foundation of everything is you. You are the foundation of absolutely all of this. And until the consistency comes from within, i.e. you doing all these things at the same time to the same high standard every single day, you're never going to have consistent training. It's just the reality of the situation. So the real challenge becomes a battle with yourself, right? And once that's had, and once there's clarity there, if you identify and it's like, right, okay, what do I actually want? how do I want my training to look in the next 12 months? And then you go, well, what character traits do I need to have in order to achieve that? And then it becomes, well, every day I need to have discipline, consistency, confidence, trust in the process, all of these things. Because it's all good having the character traits when things are going well, but when things are not going well, have you still got these character traits? But then you can still go, okay, cool. How does this person that's achieved that level of quality, consistent training handle adversity? And you can list out 5 things. What does he do? And you just be that person today and be that person every day or most days. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're controlling the controllables, you can still get pulled here, there and everywhere by responsibilities, work, family life. You can get pulled all over the place and it not have much of an effect because the foundation is solid. Do you know what I mean? So it becomes initially a bit of an inner battle because you have to blame yourself. You can't. Gone are the days on this channel. You cannot come here and blame yourself. Sorry, you cannot blame other things. You cannot blame the wrong training, the wrong sleep. You cannot blame the individual tactics here. It doesn't work. It's because the reason the individual tactics are not working is because your character is allowing this to happen. This just needs to be a smooth, steady process, right? So the first step is looking in the mirror and blaming yourself for having an inconsistent character. The inconsistent training is just a reflection of that. You were eating the wrong foods at the wrong times because you don't care about that stuff. Some days you do. Some days you'll be healthy. Some days you'll eat really well. Some days you'll do lifting. Some days you'll have 9 hours sleep. And some days you'll just choose to absolutely throw all that in the bin. It's like this. Roller coaster. Like a yo-yo. And that's the reason why your training is inconsistent, and it will always be inconsistent. So until you have the ability to look in the mirror, and if you want any more depth on this, message me on Instagram, and I will send you, if you send me your email address on Instagram, I will send you a character review document in which I go through with all of my one-on-one clients. Go through that. It'll absolutely give you some solid foundations to then build on the tactics. Right. The tactics, which is usually the stuff you already know, right? Because the world is not with a lack of information. You know that you need to sleep 7, 8, 9 hours a night. You know that you need to eat a certain amount of calories, mostly from whole foods, fit carbohydrates around your training sessions. You know this. You know that you need to lift weights to build strength in the muscles and joints, because if you do that, then the demands of jiu-jitsu will be far less, resulting in far less of the adverse effects. And you know that you need to, that's pretty much it. Sleep, nutrition, that's it. The tactics are there. And once the foundation is in place, then it becomes about how can you make those 3 things, sleep, increasing your capacity with weight training, nutrition, how can you make them things as easy as possible? I'm not going to talk about sleep because you'll probably fall asleep when you're listening to it, but you just know that you need to try and maximise the quantity and quality of how many hours sleep you're getting, right? Without that, you honestly, it doesn't matter what you do in your life. It doesn't matter how well you eat, how well you train. If you're only getting 4 or 5 hours sleep, you're going to wake up feeling like death every single day, right? And straight on a weekend, that one time that you get 8 or 9 hours sleep, you feel unbelievable. Spring in your step. Imagine if that was every day. There's no reason why it can't be. So control the controllables, right? Food. Make sure you're eating like a warrior. Making sure that the foundation of your diet is really high quality, like organic if you can. Do you know what I mean? The things that you eat every day, and before you even think about, but eating the same thing every day is boring. Listen, like, again, this is the character, the inner battle. When I'm saying this stuff, there's a character battle going on in your head. It's like, I don't want to stick to the same thing, but you have the same takeaway every frigging couple of weeks. Do you know, it's absolute mad that people will, come back and say, yeah, well, I can't stick to... Listen, it's about eating food that make your body and mind feel unbelievable. Why would you not want to feel unbelievable? You deserve to feel unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? So, like, the foundation, like eggs, beef, oats, Greek yogurt, chicken, rice, vegetables, mixed berries, blueberries. I could probably list, and I will list, just for an example, what I eat, the ingredients of what I eat every day. Like, and there's probably like 10. I don't think there's more than 10, because I was thinking about this the other day. So, meal 1, beef and eggs, 200 grams of ground beef, 5 boiled eggs, right? There's 2 ingredients. Meal 2, oats, blueberries, raisins, and an apple, 6 ingredients. After the gym, acai, mixed berries, oats, then rice, beef, mixed veg. 12 ingredients in my day. How easy is that for me to prepare? Like, it's so easy, and eating well doesn't need to cost a lot of money, but consistent training is a result of me just eating well every day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love beef, I love food, I eat a lot of calories. I need to eat a lot of calories because I'm doing 60 minutes of cardio a day and I'm lifting, 4 or 5 times per week. Like, but having that foundation, what it allows me to do is it allows me to get pulled, on occasion, get pulled left and right of that. Like, if we're going out for some food, me and the missus, for some sushi or something like that, it allows that to happen. Or if we're going for a buffet, I can still go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can go there and I can have an off-plan meal, but it's not going to affect me. But if you're constantly getting pulled here, there and everywhere, you're literally a victim to, your emotions. There's no logical foundation, and there has to be a logical foundation if you want consistency, because consistency, when you actually look at it, it's not about maintaining your current level of performance. It's about developing your current level of performance. And then you think a little bit deeper than that. It's like, well, how do I know whether my performance is improving? You don't just feel like you're performing better. You have to actually measure it. It gets to a point where numbers have to come into the equation, whether you like it or not. However, people on this channel absolutely love it. Logical based thinkers off the mats, right? And then on the mats, we can just be completely creative, emotional thinkers, loving life. But in order for us to build that consistency and develop week after week, there has to be a logical foundation. And specifically what I mean by that, you have to be doing the same things off the mats, the same lifting sessions, eating the same food for the most part, sleeping as much as you can. So sleep like a baby, eat like a warrior, train, weight like an absolute savage. All of them showing up every day, but again, these are just tactics. You know the tactics. You know how to train. But the problem is, the character inconsistency will pull you to having 5 weeks off. Do you know what I mean? You'll always do jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu will always be there. But the inconsistent character will constantly lead you to point the finger and throw the towel in, essentially. Throw the towel in when a couple of things don't go your way. And it's all about controlling the controllables. And when you do control the controllables, Yes, there is moments where you can pick and choose because you're in control of your own energy, your own output. You can get pulled here, there and everywhere because you know the foundation is based with really good standards, because that's all it comes down to at the end of the day. High personal standards. Character, mindset, sleep, nutrition, lifting weights. None of the tactics work until you look in the mirror and create that consistency from within.